So when you picked this poem, it was a very, I have to say the word heavy choice. What
Yes,
made you
I
choose
think,
this poem?
I guess normally I think I would have been inclined to do something a little more comedic, but the truth is, in my private life, I don't think I feel that way at the moment. And sort of given the state of the world, the state of my career, the state of politics and things that are going on in the world, it's kind of how I feel. I'd like to think that I still can accomplish more, that there's still time left. I'm in truth not, this poem talks about being in the middle passage of life, and I think I'm just slightly on the other side of that, but I actually think it's realistic but optimistic. I don't think it's terribly depressing, although it's a little, I think, somber. Yeah. How did I pick it?
Yeah.
You know what happened? I lost my uncle this year, and he was a great man, a very successful attorney from Kansas City. He would want me to say that. And at the end of his life, he started reading poetry. Like, he had a really fantastic voice. He really should have been an actor, but he was a lawyer, and I think a frustrated actor. And he would sit in his apartment, and we would read poetry to each other. And this was one of his favorite books, and I brought it with me, and that's why it's so well worn. And he underlined, and he would laugh about this poem, Mezzo Kami, because he felt that he would laugh because he said, I'm so far past halfway through my life, but it used to make him laugh, but he liked it, so we would read it back and forth to each other. And that's how I sort of discovered it, so I kind of think of myself as doing it in his honor.
A purely technical question is, when you first came in the studio, you were talking about, or I know you spoke to Joanna Gleason this morning, about getting the rhythm right, or getting, do you feel that poetry
You know what, I don't, I've probably slaughtered the rhythm. Actually, there's a very complicated rhythm in this poem, and a very complicated rhyme scheme. It's tricky, but I decided to think of it more as, think more about the words and just what I'm trying to convey, and I hope I was able to do that. I don't know, I hope I was able to. But nobody's ever let me do the classics. And I wish that I had, or had been chosen. I studied it in school. I think if I were doing Shakespeare, I'd be a little more concerned with the meter of it. But I think in poetry, I don't know. I think it's more about, at least for me, it's about the feeling and the words. The words in this poem, for example, are sort of interesting because, blast, for example, could be any number of things. It could be a gust of wind. It could be. It could be sort of a withering or a virus, a plant virus. It could be any number of things. So the words are actually really quite loaded, and I sort of hope I can kind of convey that feeling, as opposed to getting too hung up with the rhyme scheme, which is actually there. I mean, it is an old poem. I mean, but no, I think I'm more concerned with just trying to get the feeling of it across, or at least how I feel about it coming across to whoever I'm reading it to.
Great. Now all we need for you to do is look in the camera and say the word poetry.
Poetry.